Okay, we've gone through all kinds of ways to search for a water right number or get water right information. Let's take a look at the results page when you do one of those searches. We're going to click on search. We're going to search for a water right number. In this case, I'm going to do 73-335, taking a look at it before. The water rights results screen that you see here, it's comprised of these standard sections highlighted in green for most rights. There's 3 tabs at the top. There's a home display, scan documents, and print, and we'll take a look at each of these. And you can also see more information, this drop down, including the mail log and another link to scan documents, etc. Um, Sometimes there may be a red banner up here at the top that will let you know that a right may be under active litigation. It may be part of an objection in a proposed determination in our adjudication process or other information. But this right is clear. At the top of the home display is a map link, this view map. That opens the map viewer that we've seen many times, and it will display the point of diversion for that right. And then we'll zoom out and show the place of use we have on record. In this case, we have its place of use as 2 40-acre tracts. We can turn on our PLSS layer, see that it's in section 6, southwest quarter. We also have information about any changes that have been filed on this right. You can click those links to read more about the changes that have occurred. And this, if you've seen this training in the past, this is our new change application page. It used to look a bit more primitive. The classic view is still available if you're more familiar with it. This is what it used to look like. Very, very unformatted. But now it's modernized and looks like the previous results page. And so this displays the change information, the heretofore attributes of the right on the left side, the hereafter on the right. So they're taking, in this case, a lot of surface rights and a couple of underground wells, and they're consolidating them into 7 underground wells. And again, there will be a map link where you can view the map, and it will show you the heretofore and the hereafter information for that change. And it sometimes takes a second for this to load in, and it will zoom in. You can see all the heretofore surface rights and place of use information in orange, and then in this pinkish purple color are the 7 new underground wells and the new place of use. So, in addition to that, next down we have the list of owners of record. In this case, there's just the one. Below that, the general information about the type of right, the diligence claim, the PD book, the adjudication book, and subdivision it belongs to. The hydrographic survey map is shown on. Below that section, we have dates from filing through final certification or claim. And sometimes there may not be all the dates visible that you'd want to see. You can click on this View More link, and any other dates will be listed in there. And below that, these are the points of diversion. And then below that section, we have our water uses and the water use groups that this right belongs to, along with other associated rights. As we saw on that change application, there were a whole bunch of surface rights and just 2 wells. And so this is just the points of diversion for 73-335 itself. The change encompasses other rights as well. So under water uses, you can see the water use groups it belongs to and what and where each of those groups are diverting and what use they're putting the water to. And then finally at the bottom, if there are any extensions for filing proof or any non-uses, they're listed here at the bottom. in addition to any comments that water rights staff might have left to help you understand the right a little better. Coming up back to the top on the Scan Documents tab, this is a listing of every document that is in the file jacket we have physically in the office. So any page that is in the folder we have in our file room is listed here, usually in the order that they are in the folder itself. And you can sort this list in various ways, by date, by the type of document, or the comment. You can click this button here to get a PDF document of all of them combined into one large document. If you want to track this folder using our email notification system, you can click this link here and log in and get email notifications anytime any documents are added to that folder. You've taken a look at the notification system before. But any one of these documents you click on, you will see the PDF document or the scanned document of whatever is associated with it. And then finally, the Print tab will give you a quick summary in PDF of that first Home Display tab in a printable format that you can save as a PDF or just print directly from the browser right there. So that's the pretty standard look at the water rights details page. And that holds true for just about any right that you look up using the search right here. Let's look at the adjudication page next. Under Programs and Adjudication, we've got several menu items here. If you click on the main menu for adjudication, you're taken to this page where first thing you see is this informative video that we created and put up on YouTube that goes through and in very basic terms describes the adjudication process and what people need to do when they get a claim form in the mail or a notice that an adjudication is underway. Active adjudications, that button there at the top, are those in which the division is currently in the process of receiving water user claims. We've done our initial mailing and forms have gone out to all the residents that fall within a particular adjudication subdivision. So if we click that button and look, we will get a list of all the currently active adjudications. And when a resident gets a claim form and a notice in the mail, it generally tells them what subdivision they reside in. Let's take a look at one, 55 Book 10, the Midway subdivision. We click that link. It takes a second to load, and we will get a list of all the rights of record in that subdivision and the current status as it moves through the adjudication process. And you can see up top we have a legend or a little key of what these boxes in the progress column stand for. So we've got rights that have had summons served, a claim has been filed, field review complete, state engineer's recommendation prepared, and so on. And these check boxes can be turned off and on if you want to see rights that may or may not be shown. But in this subdivision, we have 471 claims so far, 338 of them shown. If a resident residing in that subdivision did not get a claim form but think they have a water right to claim, they can click on this button and it will take them to our online water users claim form. And if we go back to the previous page, you'll see each of these has a map link next to it. And if we click on that map, you've seen the mapping tool before, and this is just an adjudication specific version of it that will zoom in to that subdivision boundary and show geographically where all the water right claims are located. And it otherwise functions exactly the same as you've seen before. You can turn on and off additional layers or change the base map. And this is just another way to see visually where all the water rights fall within a given subdivision boundary. So another useful thing that we have on our adjudication menu are hydrographic survey maps. And these are listed by area and book number, by adjudication subdivision number. And we have multiple copies in some areas. We often have them in our black and white Mylar forms when they were originally scanned. And we have recently completed scanning all of them in color. And they can be downloaded by clicking one of these links here. You'll be taken to a listing of our scanned document folder for those hydro maps, and you can download them there. Or if you remember back on the mapping tool, if we go to our map search, under show more layers, hydrographic survey maps are available to be drawn, including their boundaries. We have georeferenced all the hydrographic survey maps in the state, and this is a way that you can zoom in and view them without having to download them individually. And just like with all the other tools that this mapping wizard has, you can turn on additional layers over it, like the PLSS, points of diversion, and so on. And it's a good way to look at, compare historic water rights information to what is currently in the database. All right, we'll take a short look at a couple of other menu items under programs. First will be the distribution link, which takes you to our distribution systems, or as we've titled it, the water use and stream flow records page. Many of these links go to off-site locations such as NOAA or USGS in the case of these stream gauge links, but we do have some on our site. The main one is this distribution systems link, and this will take you to where you can select a distribution system from a drop-down menu. And when you do, those boxes will light up depending on what information we have for that particular system. Others may be grayed out. So for the Lower Jordan River system, we have water rights activity, commissioner reports. This map link is interesting. It'll take you to our familiar map system where you can zoom in and see where there are gauges along streams and canals in this distribution system. The blue highlighted ones are not real time. The green and red ones are. And if it's green, it's had real time data uploaded to our site within the last 8 hours. You can click on one and see that as of about the time I'm recording this, flow value at Goggin Drain on the Lower Jordan was 202 CFS. If you click on this station name, it will take you to that station's information where you can view more information that we have listed about, such as these historic flow rates. We'll close these, and like I say, these change for each distribution system, so there may or may not be a map or other information for a particular system. Let's see. Going back, we also have public water suppliers. This will take you, this is the main portal into our water use programs page. We've seen some of this before, but these are all the public water suppliers in the state and the type of water supplier they are and the county they're located in. We saw that earlier, I believe. And that just about covers it for distribution. Also under programs, under well drilling, the main link here of interest to most people is our well drilling database, but there's also access to our forms on this menu and all kinds of information about becoming a licensed well driller and other groundwater based information. But on the well drilling database, you'll get this menu with buttons along the top. We can use our location search, which is specific to searching for well logs. This won't be searching for water rights necessarily. You can look at well locations on our map server. You can look them up by WIN, well ID number, and see what water rights are associated with a particular well ID number. And we have a list of non-production wells and some other tools on there, including our location calculator, which we've seen a couple of times before. And lastly, our water use reporting. We kind of looked at that a little bit earlier under distribution systems, so we won't spend more time on it here. But there is an online reporting tool that water suppliers can use to fill out their water use forms online. All right, let's take a look at the data menu. Data, we have a number of options, including our publications. This links to our brochures, all our technical publications, studies, groundwater studies done by the division and its partner agencies within Department of Natural Resources and the USGS. You can get to them under this View Publications link, and then click on Publication Type, and here are the options available, including our groundwater conditions series is popular, and our technical publications. These are usually PDF documents that you can download. Go back. These are our brochures that you can find in our front lobby area. Easy to print out versions of them. And not much else to say here. Learn some agency history, all the state engineers up to our current. And let's see, going back under data, under GIS and maps, this is a link to all our GIS data that we create around the state. Under topo maps and photos, this links to the state's UGRC data repository. We upload our points of diversion to this location, and here you can also get all kinds of other GIS data published by other state agencies. Under water right maps, this takes you to a quick link to our map interface and some static maps. We've seen the map interface a number of times, but if you're looking for some pre-made maps with different layers turned on, you can take a look at these. If you're interested in dams, for example, you can click on that and zoom in, and all the dam layers will be turned on. Clickable information, of course. And then under GIS data, we publish our GIS layers that are found on those maps. Some of them. We run them usually each night or at least once a week, and they can be downloaded from this link here. This is stored on the state's OpenGIS data site. If you want to download any of our data, you'll find it here. Everything from our canals, dam information, recent water rights advertised, and probably the most commonly downloaded are our points of diversion. You can click on that link and you can zoom in to view them. I don't know how close you have to get, but there they turned on. And you can download them right here using this link, download button. The location calculator we've seen before. We have an address calculator, a search basically by address that is also used on the map interface. Also under data, we've seen some of these others before. We've seen the location calculator several times. This is our real-time flow records we saw previously under distribution. Groundwater tab, groundwater menu here. This will take you to a link to all our groundwater management plans. And recently we've been working on a groundwater management plan for Parowan Valley. So you can come down here and see the studies and other information we've got gathered for Parowan Valley, including our past meetings that we've held down there. You can watch videos of the past meetings and see how this process plays out. Also on the groundwater menu, this groundwater level trend viewer is interesting to look at for key areas of the state. You can zoom in, click on one of the areas, such as down here in Parowan Valley, and you'll see a graph or trend lines of the current groundwater levels from various monitoring wells and other locations. Many of them are USGS wells, and you can hover over any of these points and see the drawdown compared to 2 or 3 key stations that are in black, and then the red line is the one you're hovering over. So you can compare groundwater trends. Some of these go back 60, 70 years or more. And unfortunately, in this valley, most of the trends are down. Right, recharge and recovery project, we talked about a little bit in the training. You can see a list of the current projects going on around the state, and you can click on them for more information. A screen like that, or you can see a map of the projects. They're geographically located. And finally, some other links to that we've seen elsewhere on the site, the wells and well drilling page. All right, the last thing we'll take a look at on this screen is the groundwater model automated simulation tool. This is an interesting way to take a look at how much drilling a new well and pumping it would draw down the water levels in other adjacent wells in the same area. So we have various models around the state, highlighted in blue here. And let's say we were interested in drilling a new well in this Juab Valley area. We have a model available. So we're going to run a simulation. Let's say we wanted to drill a well to put in a new pivot system like this one here. And let's say we want to have it right here. So we can simulate the well impact. Let's take a look. It's around by clicking on these. We can simulate the impact if we drilled a well right here, for example. So we're going to divert 400 acre feet, our big 100-acre pivot, and we'll drill it 150 to 250 feet deep. So we can run the simulation, and this takes a long time to come up because it's doing a lot of calculations in the background. But when it comes up, you'll see a contour indicating how much the well will draw down the existing groundwater levels around it, and whether or not it will impact any wells in the vicinity. When it finishes, you get a contour graph like this one with different contour rings. So the drawdown is 5 feet there, 4, 3, 2, etc. If we zoom out, we can see that we'll be impacting wells in a pretty good radius around us, but only right here in these inner 2 rings will it be very significant. But these other people may notice a small amount of drawdown. You can output it as a PDF and get a map like that. So it's a very interesting tool to play with. And if you're interested in the information behind how these calculations are generated, you can click the link to the associated technical publication up here at the top.